like if your company always gets good scores and they're good to go, you don't get pulled in. But like crappy companies who hire whatever, you'll get pulled in every time.
Did you read that when everything went down a few years ago, the reason that like the internet for the earth was down for a few days there was because somebody had tried to rewire their truck scale
Yeah.
thing, and
No, I didn't see that.
and it somehow made a fault system in like everything. Because it's the truck scale thing is basically like IFF, Identified Frame of Code for the military.
Yeah.
And it basically sent out as identify foe instead of identify truck. I saw an interview with a guy who did like 60 minutes or something. He got like a $500 fine. And like, the earth was crashed for a day.
Here, I'll show you guys this. You guys love it. You're welcome. Awesome.
So,
11:42.
you have to go to kangaroos and camels.
Yeah. We can be friends. You get friendly.
What do you do for me? So, oh really? So when I was diagnosed, they said probably it's no big deal, and it could be non-seminoma, or it could be seminoma, or it could be germ cell, or worst case it could be mixed type, or embryonal, I guess it was. Or worst case it could be embryonal, and it came back that it was mixed type. And they're like, well, now they'd have to test it and see what the embryonal content is. And, normally it would be like 2 or 3 or 4. As long as it's less than 10, it's not really that big of a deal. And anything over than 10, we would call worst case scenario. And so it came back that it was like 45% embryonal. And then they're like, so, and then I had to do the RPLND. And they're like, so, best case, it hasn't spread to any of your lymph nodes. They take everything out on the front side of your spine. And they're like, and generally the first lymph, if anything spread, the first lymph node would generally catch it. And we call worst case scenario if it's in more than 3 lymph nodes, and it was in like 16 lymph nodes. And then they're like, and then they have to do the whole thing again. And it could be this, it could be that, it could be the other, or worst case scenario would be that. And I really, really was afraid of the chemo. Didn't want to do the chemo. And so I'm talking to a friend of mine, and we're walking through. He worked for HMSO, so we're walking through the catacombs behind the mall where the food court all gets their stuff in. And I'm like, so I just, it's been worst case scenario every time up till now. And I just have to ask myself, is it worst case scenario again and I should go get the chemo or not? And just then some guy hollers, look out, and he's about to run us down with a pallet jack. And you just can't make this up. What was on the pallet jack was a whole pallet full of worst case scenario of the board game. And I'm like, well, I guess that's a sign from God, and I started chemo the next day. And
that is a sign.
and they didn't get the pathology back for like 8 days after that, and it was worst case scenario again. But yeah, while having the discussion, just about to get run down with a whole pallet of worst case scenario of the board game, and who even knew that there was such a game as that? All right, I'm going to kangaroos.
Alrighty. We take our happy pills. No. You have a bad attitude here. I was like, why? Oh yeah. Are they hoops?
No,
Okay.
they're actually rattlesnake balls.
Well, there you go.
We're from right outside Asheville.
Oh, okay. South or?
Aiken.
Okay, yeah. I lived in Hendersonville, East Flat Rock for a little
That's
bit.
where my sister lives.
Yeah, my little girl, she's usually here helping me. She's about to turn 9. But we were living over there when we were about to have her, and so I named her Emerald after the Green River.
Yeah.
Because that's why I moved there. I kayak, or I used to kayak a lot. And so running the Narrows and stuff. So,
That's some of the best around.
yeah, I got to race it one year. So it's a fun run.
A friend of ours, she used to live on the Double Chuck.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Up there near Irwin, right?
Yep.
We went over to Blue Ridge yesterday, and they have a chimp place, like chimps and monkeys and all this. And so I was like, let's go check this place out, because I just like to see what they do. And they set you up on a hiking trail, and you hike around, and you only ever hear them.
So are they real or is it like?
No, they really are. Like, they have like 40 or 50 of them. Like, they have 230 acres. It's huge. But if you want to see them, it's not for a long. It's not like 3 hours. It's like an hour. And I was like, I like animals. I don't like them. $5 for an hour. And that was per person. So I was like,
That's a very expensive thing.
yeah. But it was cool though. It was cool property. They had a nice pond, and then they had like a kind of like an obstacle course. At first, I was like, "Is that for the monkeys?" I was like,
Me
"What do they
too.
do out here?" I was like, "That's hilarious." And then it was like team building stuff, you know.
Just team building.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been my reaction too. What are the monkeys in here?
Yeah, that's what I was like. Oh, they fall over. I was like, "That's kind of neat." How'd you guys do with the storm, Helene?
We fared well.
You did. We headed over there that next weekend. My sister still lives in downtown Asheville, and they didn't. I mean, you know, they didn't have water for like 3 or 4 months. But luckily, the power came back on because they were downtown. But as soon as we rolled in, we went and we'd signed up to do it with like Billy Graham thing, you know, because I was like, they're real organized. At least we'll be doing something. But we got there, and some of the kayakers that I know, they have schools downtown. And so we helped out them, and as soon as we got there, we picked up like a whole trailer of MREs and took it to a downtown retirement home where they had no food, no water, and they're downtown. I'm like,
What is happening?
I was like, just give them the food.
I give them the food. We went to, was it Burnsville or Barnesville?
Yeah,
Out in Burnsville, where
Mhm.
that pig's from.
yeah,
That's where the pigs come in. We loaded up us and some people I work with and their wives. All loaded up. On the first weekend, I guess.
Yeah.
Took our grills
Yeah.
out there.
Went up there, just hamburgers, hot dogs, what we could do.
yeah.
And
It was humbling.
it was terrible, yeah.
People walking up with like just dirty
Oh, yeah.
shoes on their feet, and they just looked defeated. I mean,
Just crying, thinking,
It was nuts.
first
still hunting for
warm
the
meal.
family.
And I think that the situation in Texas is kind of similar. But then I was like doing a little research, and almost the exact same thing happened in Texas, on the Guadalupe River also, but at Mo Camp in '87. And then they tried to leave, but you know, like out west, you get those washes, and it's like every low one, they know that when it rains, they just flood. Like they don't build bridges because they happen every 30 years. And it's like they tried to leave in '87, and then the bus got washed away and lost like 20 or 30 kids. So that was part of the reason they were saying that that one camp didn't leave. They were like, no, the other camp tried to leave last time. So
Wow.
I just was like,
Because it was what, 24 right off the bat, I think, are declared dead and 40 something missing. Is that right?
it's up to like 70 something
Oh, wow.
dead now. I just felt horrible because the little girls' camps, cabins on the river, and my little girl. I got stuff talking about.
No doubt.
I could
That's
talk about Sloth.
I'll say.
Did John tell you guys we're probably going to get another one? Yep, we'll be getting another one. Her name will probably be Chloe. And we would have already had her, but because like these two sloths are very different than normal sloths, they're ambassador animals, like they want to be around humans. So the one that the guy had lined up for us, he was like, she's okay around people, but she doesn't seek it. Like these guys are like, hey, we're just sleeping. So hopefully in the next month we'll have a fourth. It's really awesome.
I'm gonna have to tell Chloe so she can come see Chloe.
Oh, you know somebody named Chloe? That would be
Yeah.
awesome, yeah.
That would make her day. There's a sandwich I eat at one of our local sub shops, and it's called the Chloe as well.
Yeah.
And they always write Chloe on it, and I send her a picture, and I'm like, see, even sandwiches for your name makes me happy. Because she's like the kindest, coolest person.
Oh, that's the best.
And I get to work with her every day, so it's really nice. That baby was
When people started coming like during the winter to hold Dash, during the winter they wear dark clothes, and they'd be holding him, and he was jet black. I'm like, take my picture. I'm like, it's like you got lint on you. You can't see the sloth.
different color choice.
Yeah. They start to lighten up though a lot.
How long have you worked here?
So I started, I guess about a year and a half ago, because they they were just open to people if you were staying here. So they had about 2,000 people on Facebook, and that was it. And I started, and now we got like a lot more. So like 160,000 on Facebook, about the same on TikTok, and YouTube's doing well. So I'm trying to make like fun educational content that kids can watch at school or like do different things. So it's like you have to make sure there's so many like little nuance things in social media. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah, I've watched videos with them on a bunch of them.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, my girlfriend kind of makes fun of me. She's like, "Oh, in front of the camera again." I was like, "Well, somebody's got to do it."
You do a great
I'm
job, really. 'Cause
Thank
that's
you.
what I really like, the educational part of it, 'cause I like the slides, I like teaching something new, and I have learned a lot of new things
Yeah.
today,
And it's kind of crazy with any of the animals. Like you look up something on the internet, you know, and you're like, you try to find like an educational website to get like a real fact, but then there's still so many opinions. They're like, oh, they do this, they do that, and you're like, where's like the white paper? Like, I want to tell people facts. Blackjack.
Is that a little llama in there in that bar?
Uh huh. Yeah.
Oh my god.
You can do, what do we do? The baby llama and goat feeding. I think it's like dirt cheap. And you feed those little guys in there. And are you guys doing the farm tour at all? No.
He's small.
You're getting the full shebang.
I actually didn't even see the farm because I found it just because like she's always loved sloth. So I thought I'd find it. She went to Costa Rica for one birthday, hoping to like see one out there, and she did.
Yeah.
And then there was actually some people at home out toward Madison County that had, I don't know, they were trying to start maybe something like this.
Maybe the community was like really
Yeah.
resonating.
I found that through that, but
Yeah.
I knew it for her birthday. And then we were going to stay here, and then I seen Sloth here, and I said, oh, I'll get that for us. We've got a place that Lake Cheney.
Oh, yeah.
So we're down there on vacation.
Yeah.
It's not too far from here.
That's pretty over there. Yeah. Do you ever go over towards the Chattooga, like in Clayton?
Yeah.
Man, if you ever go over there, it's really pretty because, so you know, like the Nantahala and the Ocoee, like there's always a road beside it. And you, as long as you like rafting or whatever, if you raft the Chattooga, it's like 20 to 30 miles. There's no roads. There's nothing beside you, like the road crosses it. And that's where they filmed Deliverance. So it's like gorgeous. And it empties out into a lake if you do section 3 and section 4. And they even offer a thing, I think, where you camp and they bring all your food and make your food out there. Because I like eating out there, but man, if you have to carry all your stuff down to the raft and carry it back out, you're like exhausted.
What are the rapids and stuff right over there?
They're 4 plus.
Oh wow.
But it's like, you've probably heard of like Golly, right? Up in West Virginia, or like, so you know like how Nolichuck gets real big, right? Or even the Broad. The Chattooga is not like that, it's more low volume. So the river, when you get into Five Falls, which is the hardest part, it's only like 60 feet wide. You know, versus the Nolichuck, that's like hundreds. You're like, do I go over here or do I go over there? It's like, you go right there and that's where you want to be. And they're really good at setting up safety, and they usually bring a John boat down to the lake. It's a 1.5 mile paddle out on the lake. And with a raft, you're not exactly setting speed records, so they usually pull people with John boats. That breeze.
Every now and then she'll like go play her real quick, and then I think she's gonna okay. She settled for Lincoln Bean on the neck last time.
She's trying to figure out what that bird is. She's like, I've not heard that. The wagons are like pretty cool. The welcome wagon first has a bathroom in it, okay? So the next two don't have bathrooms in it, but the bathhouse is like awesome. There's like a Bluetooth speaker and like a shower, like it's fully set up. So even if you are staying in the welcome wagon with the bathroom inside it, you still get like your own personal bathroom with a lock. Like you're not like, oh, I'm sharing it with Bob. Here comes Bob in the morning. It's like it's yours. And then right beside that, on the little left-hand side, is the glamping site. So if you're bringing like some kiddos or whatever, you're like, hey, you can stay on the glamp site. And then the Riverside cabin is the one with the green roof on the far left. It has a loft upstairs with like a big bed. It has a fold-out couch, and then also another bedroom on the main level. So that one will sleep 6. The Camel condo sleeps 10 people. Did you look at that at all?
I don't think so.
Okay. So it has 3 master suites, right? One has a jacuzzi in it that looks out on that window over that pond, which is pretty cool. And then the other 2 that are up top, which is kind of like a split level, those 2 are hanging beds. Each one has its own bathroom. So what's really cool is there's wardrobes that open up like Chronicles of Narnia. And then you open up clothes, like move the clothes to the side, and it goes into kids' bunk rooms. So there's 2 bunk rooms, one on either side. So when we had that snow in February, nobody was staying here. I was like, John, can we stay here? He's like, I don't care. So me and my little girl and girlfriend and friends stayed here. And it was awesome because we got like 4 or 5 inches of snow. We're letting the camels out. TikTok got mad at me though because I had someone else film, and I drove. I was like, I've driven in snow. This is fine. We're just going to the store. TikTok was like, that's not safe. I was like, I'm like, ridiculous.
Yeah, people are pretty incredible. I tell you, it's wild the things that people comment on. You know, and you're sitting there, you know, I think to say aloud.
Yeah.
You know, like what an odd thing to say.
We have a bunch of moderators that really help us because sometimes, you know, in social media people are like, why would you say that?
Yeah, why would you say that? Why would you think that? Yeah, all the things.
I'm like, you need more hugs. That's what it is.
Yes, you need
Nobody
more
hugged you.
Who
A whole
hurt?
lot. Yeah.
Who hurt you?
Well, you got a compliment about your hair.
Oh, nice. Thanks.
Somebody said, beautiful hair.
Very kind. Thank you.
How long y'all lived over in Inca?
But I live pretty much right there in the same little area.
Oh, that's
all
cool.
my life.
Yeah. Well, you've seen a lot of changes then.
A lot.
I started paddling the green about 20 years ago, and just since then I'm like, whoa, what is going on? I did not want to sell that little house in East Flat Rock. It was just south of that Ingalls, like in a great, almost across from that old DuPont factory, and it was an acre. And I was like, ah, no, it's not.
I like their cut the trees.
That was,
We still are out of here.
There's some big poplars in Joyce County.
I think it was like Earth Day too, or something when we went that day, and I was like,
Yeah. I used to work at like a outfitter store in Dawsonville, 'cause that's where I'm from. And a guy, he was wanting to set up the service, and I was like, all right, I'll go do it with you, see if we can sell it in the store. And he would take like tree climbing stuff out there, like arborist, you know, and he'd use like you know, the little slingshots and set up a line. But then you would just Jumar all the way up and climb up. But when you're on top of those huge poplars way out there in Joyce County, they like sway. And it feels like you're just kind of rocking back and forth. And I was like, this is pretty cool. I was like, but I don't know how many people can physically get themselves up. That really skinny one?
Yeah.
Yeah. That one has had a rough start, and it feels like, or it seems like it really hasn't grown hardly any. And it is the sweetest ever, but you're like, you need to put some weight on
Bulk
it.
up.
Yeah. So those camels, either the Bactrian or the dromedary, they don't really realize like how big they are. And so they'll get around those other little llamas and they're like playing, and the llama falls down. They're like, "Oh, I'm still playing." And I'm like, "No, you're killing the llama." Like, like
Don't stop the llama.
yeah.
Yeah, I got two with that one when we first got here, and I thought they were kind of running from the nose and walked away and,
Uh huh. It's like, come back over here and put me some more.
That's what he said. I'm gonna walk away and I want to hear it.
Uh-huh. I always tell them, because we feed them those 2-liter bottles of milk. And I was like, this is like Super Troopers. I was like, a liter of milk for far for the camel, you know? She is trying so hard to figure out what that bird noise is.
She isn't pretty good at it.
Did I tell you guys that they're really good swimmers? Yeah, so they're pretty good swimmers. There have actually been reports of them holding their breath for 30 to 45 minutes, which, kind of like what I was saying. I was like, where do we go with that? But they also can slow their metabolism down to only like 300 calories a day. And I'm like, pretty much when I wake up, I think I'm burning 300 calories. So I'm like, if they can slow their metabolism down that slow, they probably really can hold their breath pretty long. I don't know quite 45 minutes, because that's like a whole thing. But I'm like, it's pretty impressive that they can do that. So the goal, once we get Chloe, is we might build like a greenhouse, and then do like a lodging from each corner, and then like the sloths could be kind of like roaming in here. And also the deal with the camel condo is Flash's enclosure goes up 2 stories, and there's a big glass window. So that's kind of the concept that we want to try to do with like the greenhouse. Is be like, okay, that's where they live, and you can see them.
That's pretty awesome. There's a place in Texas, I think, it's they're big window. You see exotic animals.
The giraffe
Rats,
ones, yeah.
yes. Like, crazy too.
We just went to Charlotte, and there's that huge zoo. Have you guys been to that zoo? It's out near Asheboro. Granted, it was 100 degrees when we went. I would not advise that. There was nobody in the zoo. It was great.
right.
But they have a thing where you can feed the giraffe. And if you're the first one there, they just let you keep doing it. And so we got to stand there for like 30 minutes
That's
feeding this huge giraffe. And the platform's right there. And it's like that one that you're seeing in Texas, you know, like how they come up. It was like that. And I was like, this is pretty cool. And their monkey enclosure, or baboon, I don't know if you remember the old Jungle Book, but you remember how like the temple looked? That's how the front of the building is. It's massive. It's like 100 feet tall, and then on the side it's like all this cool glass. It's a cool zoo. Have they winked at you yet? They'll kind of wink. Like, I don't think they really do on purpose, but they like will close one eye and then they close the other one and then they open the other one back up. And you're like, what are you doing? Dash does it the most.
I know she's relaxed her arms a lot, like she was like relaxed, and now she's just like relaxed, like you literally felt it. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
That's good. She, like, if someone slams a door or moves that truck and gravel, you'll feel her like tighten in deep because she's just like, hold on, I don't know what's gonna happen. I'll be right back, guys. Don't run away with the sloths.
Okay, we'll try not. I'll have a slow getaway with her anyway. She's a little heavier.
Here's a funny truck driving story for you. I think I was like in Ohio or something, like on one of that outer perimeters, and 3 or 4 lanes of traffic on the interstate. I'm in the middle. There's an on ramp coming on the interstate. I look and see this armored truck getting it. I'm like, all right, getting it. I'm like, maybe I'll move one more over. They never slowed down. They merged all over and slammed into me. And I stopped. I'm like, what is going on? She's like, oh, I just didn't see. I'm like, the guy gets out of the back because there's somebody right in the back, and he goes, this is the second time she said something. And then first I was like, oh, okay, it's just the side. Like I don't have to go do any tests or anything. The tires were flattened, so they had to tow it. So then I had to go get a drug test and everything. Obviously fine.
Yeah.
But I was like, good
Just
lord.
the hassle having to do all the
Yeah.
things, yeah. 'Cause I guess you went through that too. Like you had to find a place, like while you were on the road to go or something.
Yeah, and it's not exactly like most of those places have truck parking either.
Right.
Yeah, that's the hard thing. Because they would just call, because I had to be set up in the consortium.
Yep.
That random consortium would just call, you don't have so long to find a place where.
Yeah. Do you drive for a company or you have your own truck?
For myself.
Oh, that's cool. You said you do like a dump or something?
I did, I had a dump trailer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I hauled corn, fertilizer.
Oh, yeah.
feed, coal, stuff like
If she goes to mouth on you, just rotate your hand around away from her. Oh, yeah. I'll go get her some snacks. Yeah, I'll be right back.
I want to eat another chicken. Man.
still here. That's good to know. I'm all right here for it. Is that okay? We can't feed Dash those because they're too big, but if he gets like hungry munchies, I'll get some more rice and stuff for him. I used to get really paranoid that I was gonna somehow like choke Zoe or whatever, like when she was really small, and I would like almost have nightmares of like, how would I do mouth to mouth on this song? Like, do I get to like stay over? I gotta get it out, you know? Like, yeah. She going to town over there?
Yeah, she is.
Oh wow. Might have to go get some more.
I like that. I like snacking.
She is queen of the snack. I'll go get more. I'll get him a little bowl of rice too. like if you feed it too much sweet potato, after a while, he'll be like, then he like wants something down and he'll water.
And they just sip it
Like it's like a cat.
Oh,
You know, like
okay.
how cat uses
Yeah.
tongue. And I think sloths are way faster.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Not the one I just saw.
so I was messing with the camera and Zoe turned one, like a little down. Like to chill. I thought I had enough time to like screw it, unscrew it, and like, I heard Zoe moving. I was like, oh, I just won't be over that quick. Crawled over to me, latched on my back, and she didn't eat stuff scratching on me. And then it's like the world's slowest wrestling match. Because she's like got me from behind and she's me by myself. So I finally get her undone and then I'm like, oh, feeling good. So I go home to the girlfriend. I'm like, this is from the sloth. It's like this gigantic
Not
scratch.
what it looks like. So we did it.
Yeah.
But as long as like secret agent on it, it just watches you. And I love it.
Secret service.
It's like what you do down there. I feel like it's weird. So it just chills. It just
Bye, have fun, be safe. Cuddle in. Finger. How's that? Get it like this huge gross bird down. She obviously. Made it back. I got Dash.
yeah, that was cute. It's just like a little. So as far as like a mate, so they're solitary, right? They just go off and find a mate.
So what happens is the female elicits a sharp sound. Whatever, I can't remember my signal.
Yeah.
And that's a signal that she wants to mate. They mate. He's like, that's all. And she, you saw it like in there, she's like trying to reach and touch him and everything, and he's like, dude. So we will never make flash with anybody because we're not as sure of it as it is. Like these two, they've been bred and raised for like 32 or 30 years. So she's been with each other. Because Dash will be like, what? closely related to like the revolution than these guys are to the jungle. So that's why a lot of people are like, oh, there's people out. I'm like, they have no clue what that's like. Like it'd be like skipping us somewhere else without a outhouse or AC. Like, that sucks. Good, sure. But
So how many does that guy bring up here?
so I do not know. But he has a huge population, and then even Bucker, that little armadillo, he came from there also. But the reason we don't know his name, obviously, is because everybody would call him the Sloth. But he really only tries to deal with people that have a zoo license, so the license by the DSA is saying the license. Because you, I think sometimes running common sense, you know, like, I'm not going to buy this. I'm like, I'm going to take care of it.
It's not this
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff you have to go through to get what you like.
It's not horrible. It's just showing that you have all the right procedures in place. You know? Yeah. It's like taking a CDL. Like, is the written test rocket science? No. You read it twice, you probably know. But you gotta read it. Well, so school, like when we had like a really big social media, they like had a lot of people got on there like made up stuff. And so USD came back out and like, hey, we need a report. We're like, yep, fine. Because like I don't know if you remember some of the older videos, it was before the Sloth was painted and it just had wood tags on it. Wood painted. I was like, I'm sitting there holding the saw like in a chair, and they're probably like, what is going on with this guy? And I was like, can we please fix this? And so now it looks better, but we get a lot of comments like, why do you have a saw in the trailer? And I'm like, I'm a 30-acre farm, but I'm here, I'm filming and stuff. The lady came out and was like, yeah. But we have, it's a new person now. So that lady retired, so we're like, we hope there's a new person. Like,
Now, what was it that lady that, like she made names?
yeah. So she was doing recipes and stuff. And
Her farm stuff, right?
yeah, like nice stuff, but online, they say some great stuff. Like, I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like, relax. You know, people always like, that's not right, this is not right. You say what you want, but this is what it is.
Yeah. In the videos, they like see and that's what's sad that you imagine like they don't know nowadays. But I guess her husband or whatever is dead. Like they had a daughter and it's super sad.
A lot of times I'll walk with the camel, like, beautiful eyes and stuff. And, like, usually the best person on it is, like, a 70 to 80-year-old grandma. It's hilarious. They sit there and they laugh the entire time. Like, oh, it's so funny. I'm like, it is so good.
Everybody loves grandmas and grandpas anyway.
Yeah.
You know, like they're excited.
So Ted and the Boo came to us from a zoo that they used to do like 240 rides a day. They were working. So they got here and it's pretty chill. But occasionally he'll be like, he like makes this loud noise. Everybody's like, oh, the fourth. I'm like, no, he went from doing so much that now he's just so lazy that he's like, oh, they're better get like
Yeah.
Yeah. One not just randomly like run around. You're like, what's wrong with you? But once you crossbreed them with any of those other three animals, then they're basically going to be domesticated. So nobody has ever domesticated zebras. That movie Stripes, where they're racing zebras and stuff. The guy who trained that zebra is the same person that trained our animals. And he goes, in that movie, there's a bunch of white horses with black stripes. He goes, throw one, I'll let him do it again. One this one goes, nope. Then he said even when he flew the zebras over there, because I guess he didn't have any air tag like on his, when they got ready to leave, flapping back, they're like, here, stay here. You can't really argue with like the country. You're like,
Yeah.
they say that stripes, like once they bring it over to the usually that when you have a whole herd of them running, that's what confuses the line there. It's like that moving pattern, it's just you can't focus. And then also the difference with the stripes prevents them from getting bit by other animals. It's all it is. All cool stuff. I have an outdoor camera that sits out there and pans around, and I try to let it play sometimes in the evenings for sunsets and stuff.